Have you ever wondered what it takes to keep your mind razor sharp and crystal clear even at 90 years old? For so many older adults, the thought of maintaining mental clarity feels like a distant dream. As the years pile on, you might notice your memory slipping, forgetting where you parked the car, struggling to recall a familiar name, or feeling that mental fog settle in when you least expect it. Everyday tasks like solving a puzzle, following a conversation, or making quick decisions can start to feel like uphill battles. But here's the surprising truth. A fading mind doesn't have to be your fate as you age. In fact, there's a natural, straightforward way to not only preserve but actually sharpen your brain power well into your 80s, 90s, and beyond. It's not about fancy brain training apps or pricey supplements. It's about something far simpler that most people completely overlook. Let me tell you about James. He's 87 years old, and just a year ago, he felt like his mind was letting him down. He'd lose his train of thought mid-sentence, forget appointments, and couldn't focus on his favorite crossword puzzles anymore. It frustrated him to no end. He worried he was losing the sharp wit he'd always prided himself on. But then something amazing happened. James stumbled upon a simple secret that turned things around. No endless memory drills or complicated routines required. It all boiled down to a handful of key nutrients, natural and easily accessible, that support brain function, memory, and focus. At first, James didn't believe it could be that easy. But when he made this one small tweak, he noticed a difference in just a few weeks. The mental fog lifted, he started finishing those crosswords again, and he even felt confident enough to join a book club, something he hadn't done in years. What if you could unlock the same transformation? What if the key to a sharper mind wasn't about working harder but about giving your brain the right fuel to thrive? In this video, I'll walk you through 5 essential nutrients that can help older adults keep their minds resilient, giving you the clarity, focus, and confidence to stay engaged in life. Stick with me until the end, because the last nutrient on this list is one most people ignore. But it could be the game changer your brain's been waiting for. Trust me, you won't want to miss it. Number 1. The brain-protecting power of omega-3 fatty acids. As we journey through the years and watch the calendar pages turn, one nutrient stands out as a cornerstone for keeping our minds sharp and vibrant: omega-3 fatty acids. These aren't just any ordinary fats. They're like a protective shield wrapped around your brain, guarding it against the wear and tear of time. Omega-3s play a starring role in supporting memory, sharpening focus, and even lifting your mood when the days feel a little gray. They're the unsung heroes working behind the scenes, helping to build and repair brain cells so that the intricate network of communication between them stays fast, efficient, and reliable. Picture your brain as a bustling city. Omega-3s are the maintenance crew keeping the roads clear and the traffic flowing smoothly. But what happens when you don't have enough of these powerful fats in your system? You might start to notice subtle yet frustrating changes. Your thoughts could slow to a crawl, as if they're wading through molasses. Your recall might get fuzzy, leaving you grasping for names or details that used to come effortlessly. Even your usual cheerfulness, that spark that lights up your day, might dim, leaving you wondering where your mental energy went. For so many older adults, this creeping mental sluggishness gets brushed off with a shrug and a sigh. Oh, it's just part of getting older. It's an easy assumption to make, isn't it? After all, we've been told time and again that aging comes with inevitable decline. But here's the reality, and it's a game changer. It doesn't have to be that way. That foggy, sluggish feeling isn't always an unavoidable sentence handed down by time. Sometimes, it's your brain sending up a quiet distress signal, crying out for more of this vital nutrient it so desperately needs. The science backs this up. Studies consistently show that low levels of omega-3s are tied to faster cognitive decline, a slippery slope that can lead to a higher risk of memory issues down the road. Think about those moments when you found yourself pausing mid-sentence, the right word dangling just out of reach, or when you felt like your brain's battery is stuck on empty. Ever had that happen? It might not just be a random fluke. It could be a sign that your omega-3 levels are running on fumes, leaving your mind starved for the fuel it needs to thrive. Now, you might be wondering, how can you make sure you're giving your brain the omega-3s it's craving? The good news is that boosting your intake doesn't have to be complicated or overwhelming. It's all about simple, natural sources you can weave into your life. One of the absolute best places to find omega-3s is in fatty fish. Think salmon, mackerel, or sardines. Rich, flavorful options that pack a powerful punch. Just a couple of servings a week can make a noticeable difference in how your mind feels and functions. Not big on fish? No problem at all. There are plenty of plant-based alternatives to keep you covered. Flax seeds and walnuts are fantastic options, delivering omega-3s in a way that's easy to sprinkle into your day. And here's a little pro tip to take it up a notch. Try adding a teaspoon of chia seeds to your morning smoothie. It's a tiny addition, but it delivers a hefty dose of omega-3s that your brain will thank you for. Seniors who make this a regular part of their routine often share stories of transformation. Sharper focus that cuts through the haze, better memory that brings forgotten details back into reach, and a renewed sense of mental energy that feels like a breath of fresh air. It's remarkable how such a small change, something as simple as a tweak to your diet, can yield such a big payoff, revitalizing your mind and keeping it humming along no matter how many candles are on your birthday cake. Number 2. The memory-boosting power of vitamin B6. As the years roll by, have you ever found yourself fumbling to recall a phone number you used to know by heart? Or maybe feeling like your thoughts are scattered to the wind, leaving you scatterbrained and frustrated? Perhaps you've noticed your concentration slipping away, drifting off just when you need it most. If any of that sounds familiar, there's a chance your brain might be missing a key player in its lineup, vitamin B6. This nutrient isn't just a small-time helper. It's a powerhouse when it comes to boosting memory and sharpening mental clarity. How does it pull off such an impressive feat? Vitamin B6 is the behind-the-scenes maestro that helps your body produce neurotransmitters, those essential chemicals that act like messengers, letting your brain cells chat with one another seamlessly. When there's plenty of B6 on board, those conversations zip along, keeping your mind quick and clear. But when you don't have enough of it, that communication slows to a sluggish crawl, and the effects can hit hard. You might start feeling forgetful, like names and details are slipping through your fingers. A foggy haze might settle over your thoughts, making it tough to focus. And on some days, you might even catch yourself feeling irritable, snapping at little things that wouldn't usually bother you. It's not a great feeling, is it? And here's the kicker. As we age, our bodies don't absorb B6 as efficiently as they once did. So even if you're eating what you think is a decent diet, full of wholesome foods, it might not be enough to keep your B6 levels where they need to be. Ever had those days where your mind feels razor sharp one minute, like you're firing on all cylinders, and then totally off the next, as if someone flipped the power switch? That frustrating inconsistency could be your brain waving a little red flag, hinting at a B6 shortage that's thrown things out of whack. But don't worry, there's a silver lining here, and it's a bright one. The good news is that getting more vitamin B6 into your system isn't some daunting task that requires a complete overhaul of your life. It's actually pretty straightforward, and the sources are deliciously simple. You can find B6 in everyday foods that are probably already in your kitchen or easy to grab at the store. Bananas, for instance, those sweet, portable fruits, are a fantastic source, perfect for a quick snack or a smoothie addition. Chickpeas are another winner, whether you toss them into a salad or whip up a batch of hummus. And poultry, like chicken or turkey, delivers a solid dose of B6 with every savory bite. Looking for a fast, no-fuss boost? Here's a tip you'll wish you'd known sooner. Try tossing a handful of sunflower seeds into your day. They're absolutely packed with B6, and they're so easy to snack on. Sprinkle them over your oatmeal, mix them into a trail mix, or just munch them straight from the bag. They're like little nuggets of brain fuel, ready to give your mind a lift whenever you need it. Older adults who make a point to up their B6 intake often share stories of a real turnaround. They notice their recall improving. Those phone numbers and names start popping back into place. Their thoughts feel more organized, like someone's tidied up the cluttered desk in their mind. And best of all, they can tackle tasks with confidence again, no longer second-guessing themselves or stumbling through the day. It's almost magical how this one nutrient can make such a difference. Like flipping a switch to turn your brain back on, lighting up the pathways that had started to dim. So if your memory's been playing hide and seek or your focus feels like it's slipping through the cracks, a little more B6 might just be the key to bringing your mental sharpness back into full bloom. Number 3. The focus-enhancing power of vitamin E. Have you ever caught yourself zoning out right in the middle of a conversation? Your mind drifting off like a balloon slipping from your grasp? Or maybe you've noticed that your attention span, once a reliable companion, now feels like it's shrunk down to the size of a postage stamp? If that rings a bell, your brain might be quietly pleading for a little more of something special. Vitamin E. This nutrient isn't just another face in the crowd. It's a bona fide superhero when it comes to boosting your focus. How does it work? It's magic. Vitamin E steps up to the plate by protecting your brain cells from the sneaky damage caused by free radicals. Those troublesome little molecules that start piling up as we rack up the years. Think of free radicals as tiny vandals, chipping away at your brain's defenses over time. When you've got enough vitamin E in your corner, it acts like a shield, keeping those vandals at bay and preserving the sharpness of your mind. But if your vitamin E levels dip too low, that damage can stack up like unpaid bills, leaving you with mental fatigue that weighs you down, slower thinking that feels like wading through mud, and a nagging struggle to stay on task when it matters most. Ever found it tougher than it used to be to follow the twists and turns of a movie plot? Or felt like a busy day is slipping through your fingers no matter how hard you try to keep up? That could very well be a sign that low vitamin E is playing a part in the problem, quietly sapping your ability to stay locked in. The good news, and trust me, it's really good news, is that boosting your vitamin E intake doesn't have to be a chore or a puzzle to figure out. It's wonderfully easy to get more, and the options are as tasty as they are effective. Picture this. Almonds, with their satisfying crunch, are absolutely loaded with vitamin E. Just a handful can give your brain a lift. Then there's spinach, that vibrant green powerhouse, packing this nutrient into every leaf. And don't forget avocados, creamy, delicious, and brimming with vitamin E. They're like a treat that doubles as brain fuel. Want a concentrated kick to really supercharge things? Try drizzling a bit of wheat germ oil over your salad. It's like a secret weapon that delivers wonders with just a splash. People who make a habit of boosting their vitamin E often can't stop talking about the difference it makes. They say they feel more alert, as if a fog has lifted from their mind. Distractions that used to pull them off course start to lose their grip, and they're ready to tackle mental challenges with a renewed sense of gusto. It's not some complicated trick or a flashy gimmick. It's a simple, straightforward way to keep your mind locked in, sharp and steady, no matter what the day throws your way. So if your focus has been wandering or your thoughts feel a little less tethered than they once did, a little extra vitamin E might just be the key to bringing your mental edge back into clear, brilliant view. Number 4. The nerve-supporting power of folate. As the years stack up, have you ever felt your brain moving a little slower than it used to? Like it's trudging through quicksand instead of sprinting along? Maybe you've had those bewildering moments of confusion, like stepping into a room with purpose, only to stand there blinking, wondering why on earth you're there in the first place. If that hits close to home, there's a chance you might be running low on a nutrient that's quietly critical: folate, also known as vitamin B9. This isn't just some minor player in the grand scheme of your health. Folate is absolutely crucial for keeping your nerve cells in tip-top shape, humming along like a well-tuned engine. It's the unsung hero that supports quick, clear thinking, ensuring your mind can leap from one idea to the next without tripping over itself. But here's the catch: as we get older, our folate levels can start to dip, slipping lower and lower without us even noticing at first. And when that happens, you might catch your mind stumbling over the simplest things. Things that used to feel effortless now feel like they're just out of reach. Research backs this up with some pretty compelling evidence, linking low folate levels to frustrating memory lapses that leave you grasping for words or details you know are in there somewhere. It doesn't stop there, either. Those same studies point to mood dips. Those gray days when you feel a little off and can't quite put your finger on why. Ever had that sensation where your brain feels like it's stuck in slow motion, plodding along when you needed to pick up the pace? That could be your body's subtle way of nudging you. A little cue whispering that it's time to check your folate and see if it's fallen behind. Now, here's where the story takes a turn for the better. Because the fix is wonderfully within reach, and it doesn't require jumping through hoops or overhauling your life. You can load up on folate with foods that are as delicious as they are nourishing, bringing your levels back up to where they belong. Leafy greens like kale are a standout choice. Dark, vibrant, and packed with folate, they're like nature's gift to your nervous system. Lentils, with their hearty texture and earthy flavor, are another fantastic way to get that B9 flowing through your system. And then there's asparagus, Those tender stalks aren't just a treat for your taste buds. They're brimming with folate to keep your mind on track. Looking for an easy, no-fuss fix to weave into your day? Try a sprinkle of brewer's yeast on your meals. It's a simple addition that packs a serious folate punch, transforming even the most basic dish into a brain-boosting powerhouse. Older adults who make a point to increase their folate intake often find themselves marveling at the difference it makes. They report feeling mentally quicker, like their thoughts have snapped back into focus after wandering off course. They feel more in control, no longer at the mercy of those foggy, stumbling moments. And here's the best part. Many say they even feel happier, as if a weight has lifted and the sun's peeking through the clouds again. It's almost like folate steps in to give your brain a steady hand to lean on, a reliable support that keeps it standing tall and strong. So if your mind's been feeling sluggish or those confusing lapses have been creeping in more often, a boost of folate might just be the key to steadying the ship, bringing back that quick, clear thinking you've been missing. Number 5. The energy-igniting power of coenzyme Q10. Have you ever noticed your mind throwing in the towel way too soon? Like after reading just a single page of a book, or trying to map out your day and suddenly feeling like you've hit a wall? If that sounds familiar, it might be time to introduce yourself to a little-known powerhouse called coenzyme Q10, or CoQ10 for short. This nutrient isn't just a bystander in your body's lineup. It's the spark that powers up the energy factories tucked away in your brain cells, keeping them buzzing and humming along like a well-oiled machine. Think of CoQ10 as the fuel that keeps your mental engine running smoothly, giving you the stamina to think clearly and stay on top of things. But here's the tricky part. As we age, our CoQ10 levels naturally start to dip, slipping lower with each passing year. It's a quiet decline that sneaks up on you, and before you know it, your brain can start feeling drained, like it's running on fumes instead of a full tank. You might notice your focus drifting off into the ether, leaving you unfocused and scattered. Or maybe you just feel plain worn out, even when the day's barely begun. Most people don't even know CoQ10 exists. It's not exactly a household name like vitamin C or D, but trust me, it's a hidden gem when it comes to mental stamina. Ever had that frustrating moment where your brain seems to quit long before you're ready to call it a day? Like it's clocked out while you're still trying to push through? That could very well be a sign that your CoQ10 levels are lagging behind, leaving your mind starved for the energy it needs to keep going strong. The beauty of this story is that you don't have to sit back and accept that tired, foggy feeling. There's a way to fight back, and it's simpler than you might think. You can find CoQ10 in small amounts in some pretty everyday foods, making it easy to start weaving it into your life. Spinach, for instance, that leafy green you might already toss into a salad, carries a bit of CoQ10 to give your brain a nudge. Broccoli's another quiet contributor, offering up small doses with every steamed or roasted bite. And if you're feeling adventurous, organ meats like liver or heart are natural sources too, though they might not be everyone's cup of tea. Want a bigger boost without much fuss? Here's where it gets good. A handful of pistachios can deliver a solid dose of CoQ10, and they're as tasty as they are effective. Picture popping those little green gems while you're watching TV or working at your desk. It's an effortless way to recharge your mental batteries. Seniors who make a habit of adding CoQ10 to their routine often can't stop raving about the difference it makes. They'll tell you their mental energy lasts longer, stretching through the day instead of fizzling out by noon. Their focus sharpens up, cutting through that haze that used to cloud their thoughts. And best of all, they feel more with it, more present, more engaged, more like themselves, all day long. It's like CoQ10 steps in as the secret weapon you didn't even know your brain was crying out for. A quiet ally that reignites your mental spark and keeps it burning bright. So if your mind's been tiring out too fast, leaving you stranded mid-task, a little CoQ10 might just be the key to powering it back up, giving you the stamina and clarity to take on whatever comes your way. If you're set on keeping your mind sharp and steady, it's not just about popping nutrients. It's about your dedication to staying curious, engaged, and fiercely independent. Folding these 5 essentials into your daily routine can help you reclaim that mental edge, letting you savor the things you love, no matter how many years you've stacked up. Don't wait. Kick things off today, because your brain deserves nothing less. If this video lit a spark in you, hit that subscribe button and tap the bell so you're always in the loop for tips to live with more clarity and vitality.